How about now?
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. So you can
Yes.
say, I can see it.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. All right. So welcome, everybody, to both our newly enrolled students and welcome back to our continuing students. So I think both Rasha and Layla are continuing. Everybody else is new. As I said, for our courses, we know that intermediate levels learners already have a foundation in terms of grammar, vocabulary, and on all of the language skills. You already have a foundation, and what we're going to help you with is building on that foundation that you already have. Our expectations from you as students is to arrive on time to our Zoom meeting. So when we start at 11, you come at 11, 11:30, you come at 11:30 so that you don't miss anything. We want you to communicate as much as possible in English, both on the WhatsApp group as well as in class, since we don't have a whole lot of time for our class. Your WhatsApp group is your daily opportunity to be in touch with us. Most of the teachers aren't available as I am. So I really want to encourage you to be responsive and communicative, send voice messages, text messages. And then also, if you do speak in class, we want to make sure that we give everybody a chance to speak and respond and ask questions. And follow us carefully via email and WhatsApp because, you know, things happen. What happened today in Philly? By the way, speaking of that, what is happening right now? There is an emergency, right?
It's snowing.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a winter weather advisory, right? Because of the snow and the change of temperature. So sometimes things happen, and so it's important that we, you know, are on top of our communication. When I say make sure that you are on top of communication, what does that mean?
So up to date everything about weather.
So on top of things means that you're following, right? You know what's going on. Let's say your kids are in school and you know what's happening with them in school. You are on top of what's happening in school. You are on top of what's happening in our WhatsApp group. It means you are following, you're paying attention, you are aware. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you see the bottom of the picture? Let me see if I can move this stuff. Where it says, as an intermediate advanced ESL learner, you expect getting better at what?
Getting better on.
Fluency, right? Fluency. When I say fluent, I am a fluent speaker of English. I'm speaking, you know, in a good speed, right? It doesn't mean I'm speaking very quickly necessarily, but there is a flow, right? A steady flow in how I'm speaking. I'm not stopping too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there is proficiency, your ability to express yourself in complex language using a lot of vocabulary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know more English, right? And then what comes after that? Confidence, right? Confidence. When we say that Sarah is a confident speaker, or she's confident when she speaks in English or in her language, what does that mean? When someone is confident.
She can speak without hesitation.
Yes, without hesitation. It means she is not afraid, right? Not scared, not nervous, not shy. She is confident, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next thing is we want to help you improve and refine your language skills. So let's say you're good in speaking, but you want to be better, right? You know grammar pretty well, but you want more. You want more advanced grammar. You have good vocabulary, but you want more and more and more, right? So a problem sometimes with people who are intermediate is sometimes they just stop learning, or your brain stops accepting new information. Or if you accept new information, you don't know how to use it, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
people have that problem where they say, okay, now I understand everybody. I understand all the English I hear here in Philadelphia, but I can't
But
use it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take something from someone in front of me, listen to it, and then use it again. How do we do that? We will try to help you with that. Okay?
Mhm.
And finally, in addition to English, as we always tell people, this is an integrated learning experience. So we want to help you with your work, life, anything else that you're interested in improving while living here in America, while living here in Philadelphia. We also want to help you with it because English is one thing, right? Don't you agree? There's so
Yes.
many people who are advanced in their English language skills, but they don't have life skills, or they aren't interacting with the American society very well, right?
Yes.
So we want to help you thinking beyond English, beyond your speaking skills, beyond your listening skills, reading and writing. Any other goals, any aspirations, any ideas that you have that you want mentorship with, we also are interested in helping you. Okay? Now, anybody has comments or questions, that's an opportunity for you. If you wanted to say something or if you wanted to share something, you're welcome to. Anyone would like to tell us if what we're sharing is relevant? Is that what you're looking for? Or is there anything else that you are interested in getting support with for your English? What do you think?
I think that's is perfect, Miss Shimaa.
Thank you.
I think this is really what we are missing because I have a lot of vocabulary. I think most of the people outside they can know, but I can't communicate with the people as fast, or sometimes I can't understand them. Yeah, I think that's what we need.
That's good to hear. Thank you, Nihal. Okay. For the sake of time, I'm just gonna switch slides and show you another side of what we do in our class model. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start by looking at the picture and that big title in the middle of the burgundy circle. What does it say?
Peer mentoring.
Peer mentoring. Peer mentoring. When I say a peer, they talk a lot about peers here in America, and we might know the word in our languages. They talk about peer support, peer pressure. Is that a word that anyone knows?
I think this means a friend.
Friend, okay, good try. Anybody else?
Peer mentoring, it's I think that it's like a pair working.
They are working with each other, okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to try? So when I say a peer, someone who is a peer to me, you see here in the picture, you see these two guys?
Yes.
He looks similar, right? and they look like they're similar in age. Probably, maybe both of them are young people. So peers are people who have things in common. They are similar to each other. So if you and I are in our 30s, or you and I are both immigrants, or you and I are both women, or you and I both speak a certain language, we speak French, or we both, we have similarity in our age, background, we can be peers to each other. So when kids go to school, their classmates are their peers. Teenagers, their peers are teenagers like them. Now, traditionally, in the US and in most places, English teachers are usually not peers to you, right? If anybody is taking English courses here in the US or ESL classes, you usually have an American person teaching you who doesn't have a lot in common with you. But in my experience and in a lot of recent research, it's showing that when you are working with people who are similar to you in your English classes or in your education, it's actually much more effective. It's very helpful because you can have so much in common. And if we have a student who is advanced, let's say, and they speak Russian, and then there's another student who also speaks Russian who's new and beginner, the Russian-speaking advanced student could be more helpful sometimes than the English teacher who doesn't speak any Russian. So one of the models that I like to use, and then with myself being a former ESL learner and a continuing lifelong learner of English, is peer mentorship or peer mentoring, where I want you to support each other. I'm supporting you, but I want you as a group of learners, whether you are an intermediate, group A, C, B, I want you to work with each other and know each other, because this way you're going to be learning faster. And you, by you helping someone else learn, you are actually also helping yourself. And you can see that reflecting in your own English language skills. Okay, so this is just another approach that I have adapted in the past years, and I think it's working really well. I know sometimes it's hard to explain to people, and it's hard when people are from different backgrounds to be working with people they don't know well, but I can tell you that it's a very effective approach. Can anyone share any experience about helping others who are peers to them with learning? Or if somebody else helped you and they were mentoring you? So who is it? So just quickly, everybody, one thing that I'm remembering now from doing Zoom is sometimes it's better if you say, hi, this is Shimaa speaking. Or, hey, this is Nihal speaking. Because we don't know your voice and we don't know who is talking besides myself. So when you are speaking, you can say, hey, this is Baktagul speaking. And then you start speaking, okay?
Okay.
So who wants to go first?
Baktagul is speaking, maybe.
Okay, great.
I'll try.
Yes.
For example, peer mentoring, I think that when when I was a student in our group, our teacher, she divided us into groups, and we are working together with other students, and we are supporting each other when we are for example, presenting new theme. Maybe during presenting new theme, we are supporting each other. We are working together.
Nice.
Maybe, yeah, I think
Yeah, group activities and group projects also can be a space for peer support and peer mentorship. Did you feel like it was helpful for you or more helpful to be working with other people?
sure, of course. It's very like good when you are working with others together, with other students together. We are helping each other, we are supporting, we are giving advice when we are talking, for example.
Nice. Great. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts about an experience with peer mentorship, or if they were supporting other people before in learning, or they were supported themselves?
My name is Rasha Yassin. I remember when I started in October in group C with you, Mrs Shimaa, we was sit down together and with my friend, and we support each other. If I have a question, they will help me. If they have a question, I will help them. It's really helped me. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good to hear. All right, great. Thank you all for sharing. So let's move on to something else. Now, I like to prepare people because sometimes I ask students to work with others, and it's very difficult for people who are not used to that idea. There are also people who just like to learn and study independently, you know? Different people have different learning styles. And so it's important for me to know what's your learning style and what you prefer to do. But it's good to hear that people are already familiar and they are okay with that idea. All right. Do something very quickly. Just give me a second. And then in the meantime, I'm just gonna ask Mr. Matthew to unmute and come in and introduce himself to you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew. I'm going to be the other teacher for the classes. Sorry I was late joining the class and wasn't able to start with you immediately. The snow is kind of hard to get around in. To be starting another round of classes. Happy to get to know all of you better, to grow together. As Ms. Shimaa was saying, we try to make our model a little different by having a more integrated approach, by being more personable. So getting to know the students, working with all of you, and hopefully all growing more together. I was born and raised here in America, born in California, but basically from Philadelphia area since I was 3 years old. I've taught English both here and abroad for a while. I lived for 2 years in Kazakhstan, which was my first opportunity to leave the US. And I taught and lived in Cairo, Egypt for a year. So it's nice to meet all of you. And I'm excited to be sharing our experience.
Then I'm just gonna have a couple like warm-up questions that I would like for us to talk about. I think it's important that we hear from you a lot more. The more we hear you speak, the more better idea we have about where you are in terms of your English. One thing that is really important for me as a teacher to know is, where do you use English? Now, some of you have been here for a while, and some of you have just arrived, or they haven't been here for a long time. And so we want to, know the different experiences and the different situations that you are in. One thing that we know is it's interesting how here in the US and I would say just in Philadelphia, in the Northeast, if you are in the Northeast, we are technically in a suburb, right? And you can walk outside of your house, spend 10 hours, and come back home, and you don't speak a word of English, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
It's possible. It's very possible here that you can live without speaking English. You can live here and survive for 10, 15, 20 years without using English. Now, things might be a little difficult for some people than the others, but people survive. And I think that's a problem. Even people who come already with a foundation in English or they have studied English before, it's hard for them to find the opportunities to practice, right?
Yep.
So I want to hear from you. Now, I know Russia works and I'm familiar with your background, but for people who are new, that we don't know, I'm really curious to where is English? Where is it in your life? Where does it fit? How do you use it? How often do you use it? Do you think you have enough opportunities to use English? And I'm not just talking about speaking and listening. I'm talking about everything, pretty much. I would like to see if, we can start with some of our new learners. If you wanted to tell us a little bit about that. What are your challenges in terms of using English and finding opportunities in your day-to-day life in Philadelphia to be practicing and using English? If you wanted to start, if you wanted to speak, you can write a message or raise your hand with a gesture and, we can go from there. So back to Gul or Nihal or Kimbat.
Yeah, I can start, Nihal.
Okay, go ahead, Nihal.
Okay, I use English in my daily life because I have 3 kids, all now in school. They most of the time speak English, and I have to deal with them, speak English, speak English. Sometimes I forget to speak with them Arabic. But my concern really, when all my kids get grown in their teenager or so, how can I deal with them? Because in my level, they can relate, or so I need to improve my English so I can communicate with them more.
Yeah, so you're worried that as they get older here in
Yeah,
America,
I need
they're
gap
getting-
with them. Yeah.
yeah,
And I in my daily life, I send emails to their teachers. Everything I communicate here is with English. I send text messages, send emails. How I can make appointments for doctor appointments. How can I speak with coach, their coach?
Mm-hmm. I'm noticing something, Nihal. You're specifically talking about your responsibilities as a mother. So working with your children, speaking with them, and then their teachers and their schooling, right? The school system, and then the medical system with their healthcare needs and stuff. Is there any other space where you use English like on your own or for yourself or for matters that are related to you? Or do you feel like you haven't had an opportunity here in the US to do that?
I really start to have a pharmacy technician program. I started like 1 month ago.
Nice.
Yeah, and this is how I can start communicate with the people. And that's why I really need to speak with them fluently, so I can disappear why afraid of like not communicate with them or stopping too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really exciting. Are you excited about beginning a new educational program, or how do you feel? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel excited, worried? How does it feel for you to be beginning a new educational course again?
Yeah, at first I feel excited because finally I can return to my work again, or like post making being a mom and return to have a working life again as I was in Egypt,
Yeah,
and a little bit afraid from how to communicate with the people. Not people outside is nice and they can understand. I'm I'm not fluent enough to speak with them, so this make me afraid to speak with any people or communicate with them.
yeah, yeah, I can understand. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.